The Pittsburgh Steelers hire Arthur Smith as their offensive coordinator. Arthur Smith was the head coach for the Atlanta Falcons for the past 3 years. And before that, he was the offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans when they went to the conference title game. And with the Titans, as an offensive coordinator, Arthur Smith, they averaged around 30 points a game. They had Derrick Henry, at the time. Well, they still do. He's probably going to be out of there. He's a free agent, this year. But Derrick Henry was heavily featured in that offense. It was a run first offense, and then it set up the play actions with Tannehill and AJ Browns and things like that. So with that on his resume, proving that he can run. He had the schemes for the running game. I think that's what really made him appealing and interesting for the Steelers, because Art Rooney, people know that Steelers want to run the ball first. Now that you got two backs, Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren, so now you can put more emphasis on a run, and those guys can do some things for the running game. So now you get a guy in Arthur Smith who had a run-first philosophy offense already, and he was, like I said, around 30 points a game with running the ball first. So the Steelers probably look at that and say, hey, we have two backs. They had one good back. We had, they had one great back. We have two good backs, so maybe that style, would help us maybe translate into around 30 points a game the same way it did for the Tennessee Titans, so that's a little background on Arthur Smith. And I know with this hire, man, it was mixed feelings. People said, hey man, what's going on? Why would you bring in this guy? He didn't do nothing previously with Atlanta. You got a young quarterback and things like that. A lot of people probably wanted the search to be a lot wider, get a lot wider search, bringing some more names, bringing some up and coming guys. Experience was one of the things that Mike Tomlin wanted. This is what he has. He has experience, and he has experience in an area that the Steelers always come out and say that they want to do more, and that's running the ball, and that's what he's done, running the ball. That really don't have any experience with the quarterbacks. All he had, as far as young quarterbacks, really wasn't no young quarterbacks that he was developing. He had Tannehill, who was already a veteran with the Titans, that is. But when he was the head coach, with the Falcons, they did have Desmond Ridder. He was going into his second year as well. He came out the same year as Kenny Pickett. Things didn't go as well, with Desmond Ridder, B.J. Robinson, and that offense. But he was the head coach, so not the OC like he was in Tennessee. So some people could say, hey, he don't have, any track record with young quarterbacks, and you're going to have Kenny Pickett. They saying that, it's looking like Kenny Pickett's probably going to be the number one guy with a little competition, maybe a veteran. Who knows? Well, what has Arthur Smith done with young quarterbacks? And you say, well, there's no track record there, just the run game, So, it's kind of like, what is this? Another, some people say, hey, you look around and say, same old Steelers, man. They keep hiring people who's not going to challenge Mike Tomlin, who's just going to go along with Tomlin says. And, this is just a experienced guy who's going to let Tomlin still run the show, but he just has a little experience, but, I think the Steelers should have went with an up-and-coming, either a pass game coordinator or a quarterback person like the guy that they brought in for an interview, the Gerard guy from the Texans. C.J. Stroud endorsed him and said, he did a lot for his confidence. And that's one thing that people are questioning right now about Kenny Pickett is his confidence. How he feel. Do he still feel the same as he did coming in. You know, when he came in, he was confident. He was throwing the ball, moving around, doing some things. And he was like, hey, man, okay. And that's why a lot of people gravitated to Kenny and jumped aboard, because they could see. And now it's like, well, what's going on? Did Matt Canada break him, or, you know, he doesn't look confident, especially when he breaks the pocket so fast, you know. So, you know, and if you get a guy like that, and CJ Stroud, like I said, came out and said he did a lot for his confidence, you know, and he got to work with him his first year in the league, man, and you see what that did for CJ Stroud, man. The Texans came out of nowhere, you know, rookie coach, rookie head coach, rookie quarterback, rookie play caller, offensive coordinator, a rookie team, basically, you know, and they went on to win a playoff game, you know. So, you know, I think that was the maybe the way to go. I know they requested an interview for the guy with the Rams pass game coordinator, Zach Robinson, I believe his name is, but he was hired by the Atlanta Falcons when Morris took the job. So Raheem Morris hired him on his staff with the Falcons. So that takes a coordinator away from the Steelers. I know that Kubiak, you know, Steelers had some interest with Kubiak, so it had the Lions hold on to win the game, man. Kubiak would have been available for a real interview. I know they can talk to people and things like that during, you know, the Super Bowl media week, but you can't conduct like a real deal interview, I believe, until after, you know, they're done. And then that's another 2 weeks, you know, so you want to kind of get things done, because then you're kind of all the names will be soaked up and people are going left and right. And then that'll be your last resort, and you're kind of putting all your eggs in that basket. And if that doesn't work out for you, you're kind of like scrambling around to just try to make it as reasonable hire as you can, you know, because you missed out on the other guys. So, you know, maybe that was a factor in the hiring Arthur Smith as well. Like, hey, our guy may not be there. Our first choice is already gone with the Zach Robinson, and the Kubiak, he's going to Super Bowl, and he's probably going to be in high demand. So who is our job more appealing than other jobs? Maybe not. You know, there may be another offensive coordinator job that he may desire more than that, or he may want to stay. Who knows? When you put your eggs in all that one basket, man, it's frustrating, you know. So you hire Arthur Smith. I don't know if that's what came into it. I know Arthur Smith has some ties to some former Steelers that was, you know, in the building. Dick LeBeau, Mike Munchak, Wiz and Hunt. He worked with those guys and things like that. You know, being familiar with the organization and things like that is always a plus. You know, being hired for by the Steelers, being familiar is always a good thing, man. You know, so will Arthur Smith get the best out of Kenny? You know, is this Matt Canada 2.0? Because they said Kenny's, Matt Canada held Kenny back. Will Arthur hold him back? You know, and then you have to think about this. You know, Arthur Smith was with Tannehill. Hey, man, Tannehill might be on the move again. You know, you got Will Levis there. Maybe they want to do Levis and keep Willis as the backup and say, hey, Tannehill, we paid you, you know, and it's over. So you may have an instance where, hey, if Mason Rudolph don't come back, then they may be interested in Tannehill. You know, Smith already worked with him. You know, like I said, scoring almost 30 points a game, around 30, I believe it was. And hey, he can get the best out of him. Hey, I know how to work with this guy. I've worked with this guy, you know, with Najee Harris and Warren and him and Pickens and Deontay and, you know, Pat Freiermuth, and man, we can make this work. You know, he may have pitched that to the Steelers as well. Hey, man, you know, if Mason don't work out, you know, you can do Tannehill, but I wouldn't bring Tannehill in if Mason is, you know, if they do sign Mason, because it's basically like the Mitchell Trubisky situation all over again, and it'll be worse this time because Mason actually deserved a shot now because he went in there and got you to the playoffs when the quarterback play wasn't as good. So if Mason don't re-sign, then I wouldn't be too fond of it. But I mean, what are you gonna do if you don't draft? If you don't draft a guy like a Bo Nix or something like that, Michael Penix, if they're gonna be around, you never know. Some teams like to play possum. They say, oh, we're not interested in the quarterback, and then one drop, and then boom, that's another quarterback off the board that you didn't have going in that round. So man, it's something to say how he's gonna come in and run it. So I just don't think if you really wanted to get the best out of Kenny Pickett, and you're saying, hey, this offensive coordinator hire is so important, like Mike Tomlin said, and it really is. I don't see how a guy who has success running the ball would do good for your young quarterback who looks like he's having confidence. He's lacking in it right now. Not to say that he can't get out the funk, but as of right now, how can a guy who ran the ball effectively do that for your quarterback? I don't know. That's probably why people are scratching their heads with the hire. Other than that, you can say, if it wasn't for that, you can say, hey, well, he did call plays. They did score around 30 points, a game. He's experienced. He was a head coach. That helps. So, all right, not too bad. But this was all about Kenny Pickett. This is all about Kenny Pickett, Matt Canada. Matt held him back. Mal had him back. Now you got a guy who looks like he's maybe not gonna get the best out of Kenny either. Just going by his background, not saying that he can't, not saying that he's not. He's going to do a terrible job, and he might come in here, man, and turn the team all the way around. And Kenny looked like the best quarterback out. Who knows? But you can only go by what the resume, what guys have already put out there, and that's what he's shown. So it's an interesting hire. The guy that they really was after, I believe the Zach Robinson guy was soaked up. He was the first guy, they requested, not the first interview, but the first request. Kingsbury's name came up, but nothing really concrete about that. It was just floating around, So what do you guys think about the Arthur Smith hiring as the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive coordinator? Do you like the hire? Do you think this was the right move for Kenny Pickett? Because that's what this was all about. You need to get a guy that's going to get the best out of Kenny Pickett, and that's why that Gerard guy from the Texans, man, that's why he was very intriguing, because of how C.J. Stroud endorsed him, just from the confidence standpoint, and how he said how confident he made him feel, when he was back there playing a position. So if that's something that you believe Kenny lacked in, I believe that may have been the better hire. But you never know until you play the game. So Arthur Smith, the new Steelers offensive coordinator. How you guys think about that? Let me know in the comments. And whether you like it or not, he's here. So we'll just have to see how that goes, and where he takes the offense next year. So thanks for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to get all the new videos. Until next time, I'm out.